Ready.
All right. Hi, this is Stacy Nelson, Only 2 Degrees and caloriesandwine.net. We are sitting here in the barrel room of Hart Winery with Joe Hart, chief bottle washer, winemaker. Make up your own label.
I do make up labels as I need them.
But the best part about this visit, not that I am not happy to sit down with you, but there's actually wine involved.
Well, that's always a plus.
It's a huge plus. What have you got for us today?
Well, we're going to start with, at least for this segment, I think we'll talk about white wines, and we'll pour gold medal winning Sauvignon Blanc from a very good vineyard out here, Huey Vineyard. And it's a gold medal and a silver medal and bronze medal, and it's kind of all over the board, but at least it's won medals every time, just virtually every time out. And,
now, it's not a Chardonnay. We've already established that.
That's right. It's something that I would enjoy drinking.
Would actually drink. It's got a nice green color to it.
Just a hint.
Just a hint. Mm-hmm. Tell me about, well, I suppose we should smell and taste, right? Oh, it's beautiful. It's got nice floral tones to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Muscat?
Muscat clone.
Muscat clone.
This is a clone that fairly new to California. It's known as the Muscat clone. It was first brought in to California, I believe, by Doug Meter and Ventana Vineyards up in Monterey County. And it doesn't have Muscat character, but it has more aromatics than most traditional clones of Sauvignon Blanc.
It's absolutely beautiful to smell, but I have to tell you, the taste after the smell was surprising because it's got that nice crisp acidity to it, mm-hmm. But when you're smelling it, you almost expect something a little bit higher in residual sugar, and when you taste it, it's just got that nice crispness.
Well, I make Sauvignon Blanc totally dry because I think that's when it shows itself best, and it works better with food, which is always one of my chief objectives with wine, is to make something that goes well with food. Mm-hmm. And I think Sauvignon Blanc to my mind, is the best, most food-compatible white wine that we have in, at least that's widely produced here in California.
Right. Now tell me a little bit more, since we have you and you can tell us about the making of this wine, what exactly is involved in making a white? And then I have a personal wine question for you after that.
Okay. I'm game, go ahead.
No, you go ahead and go on the white and then I'll ask you.
Okay. You want me to talk a bit about white winemaking?
White winemaking, because this is just... when you have a wine, and obviously you talk about the quality of the wine having to do with the quality of the grape, mm-hmm. And then the winemaking comes secondary after the quality of the grape.
Right.
So when you're looking at a white wine, how well does it do right here in this valley? How much do you go outside? How much do you do here, especially with a nice crisp wine like this?
Well, I know I've been making Sauvignon Blanc here since 1981. And won a lot of awards with it over the years, and competing against the best of California, and more recently against the best Western Hemisphere wines.
Right.
And this year we got a gold medal. Last year was several gold medals, and it's a variety that does, I think, exceptionally well in Temecula, as does Viognier, mm-hmm. and Roussanne, and we've actually done very well with some cool climate whites like Riesling and Gewürztraminer, which I don't make either one of them, although I did make Riesling many years ago.
They've got a sweeter palate, so I can assume that you would want to make those.
Yeah,
personally.
But you can make a dry Riesling, but most Riesling
they expect the
purchasers
sweet.
are really surprised when they get a really dry one because it's not what they're looking for.
Oh, those are the best.
Right. So, white wine making it's a much different process from red wine making. With the red wine making, you ferment with the skins, mm-hmm. and so you're looking for color and flavor from the skins. But with white wine making, you separate the juice immediately after crushing, and by pressing the juice out of the grapes, and then you just ferment clean juice. And you ferment whites quite a bit cooler, too, typically between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So at a cooler temperature, they ferment more slowly, and the cooler temperatures also help bring out the fruit components in the wine. If you ferment it too warm, then you lose that. And white wines may or may not be oaked. Chardonnay is typically uses up a lot of fine oak trees.
Although I've had some fabulous steel fermented chards, and I've actually had some cement fermented Chardonnays too.
Mm-hmm. That seems to be
it's very,
the concrete
very
fermenters seem to be coming back. But I know South Coast Winery out here makes a very nice non-oaked Chardonnay, and there seems to be a movement that way, a movement away from the big oaky Chardonnay monsters that we've been making in the past,
Wouldn't
which
that be wonderful?
Again are not really good food wines in general, except with limited dishes. So anyway, then whites. You have to be careful on white wines to not over-oak them, because the charm of most whites is the varietal fruit that they have, and if you put them in barrels for too long, then you can overwhelm those delicate flavors and aromas with just plain old oak, and so you might as well just have a big oaky Chardonnay
and call it a day.
Yeah.
Now, how long would a wine like this? By the way, this is a fabulous wine.
Thank you.
It's really truly delightful. I'm really enjoying it. So how long would this particular wine ferment before you said, okay, we're ready?
Well, on a wine like this, you just ferment it till it stops fermenting. Then that's basically, in the grape there are what we call fermentable sugars. And so if you allow the wine to ferment all the way to completion, all those fermentable sugars will have been used up. And so there's nothing left to ferment, so the yeast calls it a day and packs it in. And if you want it sweet...
And it speaks to you?
Yeah. This is just the natural process. The natural process for winemaking is for the wines to go completely dry. That's what the yeast is trying to do. So if you want to stop that process, you have to intervene in the fermentation process, usually by dropping the temperature of the wine down to maybe 30 degrees or so, because that's when yeast
slumbers,
quits working. Right. Although you have to.
If it's 30 degrees outside, I'm crawling under a blanket and calling it a day too.
And you have to use the right kind of yeast, because you want a yeast that responds to chilling. In other words, quits working when it gets cold. Some yeast will just kind of keep chugging along, and if you want to have some sweetness in your wine, you don't want to use a yeast like that, because it's going to go dry no matter what you do. So you have to. Yeast selection is a big part of winemaking too.
It's brilliant. Okay, well, we're just about having to wrap up, and I need to finish this glass of wine because I can't pour it out. I'm not a pourer-outer.
Well, good. Do you have a designated driver so you can drive safely?
I'm nominating Linda over here, who's sitting very quietly.
Well, Linda's an excellent designated driver.
It's perfect.
So enjoy the wine.
Thank you so much, Joe. We'll talk to you soon.